Hey guys, Peter Franson here from ChristianGeekCentral.com and Spirit Blade Productions here with your video newsletter covering the events of June 2018. And this was a month that had a lot going on as far as Christian Geek Central was concerned. A lot of like E3, the big video game event that lasts for a week, totally consumed me for the first part of the month. And then I was playing a little bit of catch up for the second half of the month after that. And then toward the last week or so, I was able to start finally giving time to prep for the Patreon campaign that's coming up in August. For those not familiar, I am still going to present like a proper video that gives a full explanation of what Patreon is. But basically, Patreon is a platform that allows creative artists of all kinds of, of shapes and forms, creating music or YouTube videos or comic books or anything, these kind of like grassroots artists that are creating content of some kind. It allows them to involve their community with them financially. In other words, it allows basically people to donate on a regular basis to support their efforts. And along with those donations, which can be at various tiers of financial support per month, come various tiers of rewards that are kind of in proportion to what those donations are each month. And each person that runs a Patreon account can decide what their own rewards are, and then they distribute those month to month. And so a key part of having a good Patreon campaign is having rewards that are fun and interesting and that serve as good incentives for the community that's potentially interested in supporting you. And so I wanted to share with you guys what I'm thinking right now for the Spirit Blade Productions Patreon campaign. I have listed here in this document, actually says Christian Geek Central. That's actually, I need to change that so that it reads Spirit Blade Productions. Spirit Blade Productions and Christian Geek Central are kind of like two sides of the same coin. Spirit Blade Productions is the parent company. It's a small LLC that I've been running since 2006. And then to create kind of a community face for Spirit Blade Productions, I launched Christian Geek Central, I don't know, a handful of years ago, I want to say. And so that's kind of been the more community-oriented face of Spirit Blade Productions. And so, but it is going to be a Patreon page it'll be called a Spirit Blade Productions, the Patreon page for Spirit Blade Productions, but I'll make it clear that, basically Christian Geek Central and Spirit Blade Productions are one and the same. They share the same pot of resources, both financially and in terms of hardware. This microphone and my camera and my mixing software, all that stuff, I use it for both my audio production work and Christian Geek Central. So supporting one is supporting the other. But anyway, so I wanted to share with you guys what I'm thinking of as my for my reward tiers and get your feedback on it. I'm going to be launching this Patreon campaign in August. I don't want to give an exact date yet, but that's what I'm looking at is probably middle of August. And so this is what I'm thinking. For those who support me at $1 a month, they'll get access to the exclusive monthly Pater's Brain podcast, which candidly chronicles my ups and downs running Spirit Blade Productions and Christian Geek Central through a series of recorded journal entries and occasional work samples of what I'm working on. This is kind of based on what I currently have running for what I call the Spirit Blade Insider program. And so those that are supporting me as a part of that program, they get these this audio podcast from me every month that is made up of journal entries that I'm recording throughout the month, talking about the crazy experience that it is for me to be spinning all these plates, wearing all these different types of hats, trying to be knowledgeable and capable in so many different things that I am not naturally capable in at all. And so that means a lot of dramatic ups and downs behind the scenes that the average person that's just taking in my content at Christian Geek Central or who listens to a few of my audio dramas has no idea what's going on behind the scenes. There are moments that I am so excited and celebrating and excited about what God is allowing me to be a part of in this ministry and and this work. And then there are plenty of days where I'm like, this sucks and I'm having a really hard time. I feel like giving up. Maybe this is the time I should give up, and I mean, there's so many ups and downs. It's a crazy roller coaster ride. And so the Pater's Brain podcast is where I share all of that with those that are kind of in the trenches with me by their financial support on a monthly basis. So at just $1 a month, people would get access to this exclusive audio podcast. And then also everyone that's supporting me at least $1 a month gets an influential voice as I make decisions for Spirit Blade Productions and Christian Geek Central. Not a vote per se, but these are going to be the first people that I want to hear from and want to get feedback from in terms of the kinds of things they would like to see more of or less of or different that aren't around yet for both my audio production work at Spirit Blade Productions and the content I'm rolling out on YouTube and elsewhere for Christian Geek Central. So that's the $1 tier. The $5 tier would get you all of the $1 tier rewards plus exclusive access to the video version of the Pater's Brain podcast, because actually as I'm recording these journal entries, I'm doing it with my phone, recording video of myself. And so there's a complete video version of this that will be going out as well that I've already been kind of testing with the current Spirit Blade insiders. And if you're wondering what's going to happen with that program, by the way, I am not going to force anybody that's part of the Spirit Blade Insider program to transfer over to being a patron, but there will be some great benefits for those that decide to do that. So I'm hoping that all of them will decide to carry over. But anyway, so at the $5 tier, you get all the $1 tier rewards plus access to the video version of my Pater's Brain podcast and access to a monthly 2-hour private live stream, which is going to be me sitting and playing a video game or me just sitting in front of my webcam and just kind of chatting with whoever shows up for that. It'll be much more unprogrammed, laid back, and just kind of relaxed and messy compared to the live streams that I do, every 2 or 3 months, which are more programmed. I have a schedule of games that I, go throughout that 6-hour live stream or whatever. This would be less about me trying to create some programmed entertainment for the viewer and more about me just inviting the viewer to just kind of enter into my cool-down time at the end of a night once a month where I'm just like, hey, boy, that was a long day of work. I'm ready to fire up a video game and just blah, 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 and talk about whatever comes in my mind, hear about what your week has been like and, and what's going on in your life. And so it would just be a very kind of chill, relaxed, a smaller, more intimate setting for me to be able to connect via a live chat and me being on camera with those that are supporting me at this tier. And then also along with that, on no particular regular scheduled basis, there would be occasional invites to other private hangouts and live streams. Usually about, I want to say, once or twice a year, I've ended up having a exclusive kind of Google Hangout type thing with those that have been Spirit Blade insiders, so there might be something along those lines that would be available for those that are supporting at this tier. Again, I'm very vague about that because I don't know what the scheduling is going to be. The main things would be access to the video version of that Pater's Brain podcast and then access to that monthly 2-hour private live stream that I'll be doing. At the $10 tier, you get all the rewards of the $5 tier and, of course, the $1 tier. Plus, your name will be included in a crazy monthly thank you song on the podcast and the YouTube channel, which I'll put out once a month, probably after like a movie review or something like that. Your name will be included in the lyrics of this song on the month that you support me at the $10 tier. And then at the $15 tier, you get all the rewards from the tiers below $15 plus access to the entire Spirit Blade Productions audio catalog, which is going to include the Spirit Blade trilogy, all the song bundles, and the Storyteller series as that is being rolled out. And then while at this tier, you'll also get a physical postcard with a handwritten message from me, which would be sent after the first of the month in which you're charged. So anyway, that's there for those that would be interested in that. What's left? Oh yeah, the last one. The $25 tier, you get all the rewards from the $15 tier and below that. Plus, I will live stream a video game of your choice from my collection, which you can feel free to choose one that I hate or am scared by. I keep plenty of those in my library at all times. And I'll do that for 30 minutes while having a bizarre, one-sided conversation with you by name. And you can also submit suggested questions or topics for me to respond to during the stream. And that's going to be fulfilled during that monthly private stream for those that are supporting me at the $5 tier or higher. And then that will be probably uploaded later to YouTube, either in full or as kind of an edited highlights video, I'm not sure. That's limited to just 4 patrons per month that will be able to support me at that tier. So anyway, I do have some ideas for a couple of tiers above and beyond the $25 tier, but I'm thinking of starting with just this many and seeing kind of what happens, seeing if there's demand for higher tiers with more special and more exclusive kinds of rewards. I definitely have some ideas that I'm chomping at the bit to talk about, but let's just see how these go. And even these are totally open to change based on feedback that I hear from you guys. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this. And by the way, giving me your opinion on these does not mean, like, if you say, hey, that $15 tier thing sounds great, that doesn't mean I'm assuming that you're going to be supporting me at the $15 tier, whatever. And also, I imagine some of these tiers, people will maybe choose to just support me for just 1 month at that level, and then maybe normally just hang out at the $5 a month tier or the $1 a month tier or something like that. So anyway, I'd love to get your feedback. None of this is set in stone. I imagine it will be shaped a little bit before the actual launch of the Patreon campaign, and then even after the campaign starts, it's a totally normal thing for the rewards to change and shift throughout the course of the campaign as the person running the campaign gets feedback and stuff. So anyway, but I wanted to start that feedback process right now before I even launch the campaign. So if you want to take a look at these, let me know what you think. I would really appreciate your feedback. That's it. I'm planning on spending the rest of this month continuing to get the ball rolling, getting things ready. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that needs to happen, that needs to be thought about very carefully as I figure out how I want to present all of this when I kick off the Patreon campaign, as I'm planning to next month. So stay tuned for that, and I'd love to get your feedback in the meantime. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.